Thank you all for attending the State of the Community Luncheon. It's so good to be back and see everybody's faces again. I want to thank our event sponsors. Thank you for all your support. Alta Vista Credit Union, the Ayers Hotel, Barrett and Associates, Circa Management, Kaiser Permanente, Redlands Community Hospital, and the Rockford Foundation, Southern California Edison, SoCal Gas, Storage West, Teamsters Local 1932, and Welsh Insurance Services. Thank you again for all your support. And thank you to Camp Carlton for this afternoon's entertainment. Thank you. Now I'd like to introduce Reverend Hao Vu of the Diocese of San Bernardino, and he will offer our invocation. Please come to the stage.
Good afternoon, everybody. And so let us stand for the invocation here. And so we pray in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. Good and gracious God, bless this gathering this morning and this afternoon. Bless the city of Redlands for which we assemble, and bless its inhabitants. We come this afternoon with hopes, curiosity, and interest. Let us learn from one another and find ways to know that our commitment matters, and realize that our actions are part of the fabric of this community that we call our home. May our minds be open to retain the history of this beloved city, so that we may learn from its past and plan for its future. May our hearts be open to the beauty that abounds in these our natural surroundings, and that it is illumined as well in the eyes of our neighbors and friends. May we remember today and every day that we are different and that we are alike, that we all love, we all hurt, and we all care deeply about things that matter to us. Let every stranger become our neighbor, and every visitor be our welcome guest. Let us treat each other with kindness, compassion, and respect, so that we may learn from one another, discover our shared vision, and build a strong community for all who live here, now and all who have yet to come. Above all, may ours be a city of peace, a place that helps us to uphold our values, in which we are all free to live our dreams and offer our gifts and our service to this, our community. We ask all of this in the name of the Father, and the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.
If you please remain standing for the presentation of the colors by a joint color guard of the Redlands Fire and Police Departments. Now to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, Ana Alcantar.
Please put your right hand on top of your heart. Let's begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And please remain standing. We are pleased to welcome acclaimed performing artist Lana Love to lead us in the national anthem. Lana was the featured soloist for the Redlands Bowl season finale this year. Lana.
Oh, say, can early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave for the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Present arms. Order arms. Detail. Face. Mark time. Mark.
Now it's my honor to introduce Mayor and former Chamber President, the Honorable Paul Barrich.
Everyone sit down. Time to eat. While everyone's eating, I'd like to welcome a few guests that are in attendance. I'd like to introduce 3rd District Supervisor Don Rao, University of Redlands President Krista Newkirk. By the way, thank you very much. Mayor Pro Temp Ada Tajeda, Council Member Denise Davis, Council Member Paul Foster couldn't be here today. Unfortunately, his wife's in the hospital. We wish her the best, and to you, Paul, as well. Council Member Jenna Guzman-Lowry, City Clerk Gina Donaldson, City Treasurer Robert Dawes, Rancho Cucamonga City Council Member Christy Scott. Where's Christy at? Well, okay, I thought she was going to be here. Hello. Redlands Unified School District Superintendent Mauricio Riano, Redlands Unified School District Board Member Jim O'Neill. Hi, Jim. Redlands Unified School Board President Patty Holohan. Welcome, Patty. Former Mayor Casey Hawes. Hi, Casey. Former Council Member Jerry Bean. Former Council Member Mick Gallagher. Mick. former City of San Bernardino Mayor Pat Morris, San Bernardino Valley Municipal Water District T. Milford, and two very, very special people I want to introduce. First of all, I want to introduce my father, Dr. George Barrich, who without him I wouldn't be here in more ways than one, as you can imagine. And today's his 93rd birthday. Happy birthday. And of course, the most important person in my life, my best friend, my confidant, my biggest supporter, and the love of my life, my wife, Joanne. I'd like to invite University of Redlands President Newkirk to the podium for some welcome remarks.
Thank you, Mayor, and good afternoon, everyone. It is so good to see you here today. And boy, am I glad I didn't have to follow Lana. Wow, Lana, that was amazing. You have quite the voice. So you may not be keeping count, but I am. Today is my 71st day here. And I'm really enjoying my time here. We did a count the other day and figured that in my first 71 days, I think I've attended now 295 events or meetings and hosted over 500 people at Miraflores, which has been wonderful. But what a joy it is to be here with you today. So I'm going to tell you a few things that I've learned in my short time here in Redlands. First off, I come from South Carolina. And we really pride ourselves on Southern hospitality in South Carolina. And I will tell you that they have nothing on Southern California. So I have designated you all honorary Southerners. You're welcome. The second is just how impressed I have been by this community, the care that you have shown at the university, and the fact that we really developed together. It was this community, led by the Chamber of Commerce, who brought the University of Redlands to this city 114 years ago. And we know that our ongoing prosperity and success is linked with this community. And we are committed to being a part of this community and to working together to raise all of us up together. So it is a joy to get to know you. It is an honor to be here as the president of the university. And it is a true pleasure to be a part of this community and to work to further this community and this university together. So with that, I'll let us return to the program, and thank you all very much.
This is an official business, so now back to official business. I'd like to call the special meeting of the City Council to order. I'd like to introduce the City of Redlands Public Information Officer, Baker, who will present Beautification Awards and Redlands Hero Awards. Carl?
Thank you, Mayor Barrich. It's my pleasure to announce the Redlands Beautification and Heroes Awards. As you hear your name, please make your way up to the stage to receive your award. The Beautification Awards recognize buildings or facilities within the city of Redlands that capture outstanding landscape, architecture, cleanliness, and curb appeal. Our first Beautification Award is presented to Reverend Rain at the First Presbyterian Church of Redlands for the newly developed Vine Street Community Park on 4th and Vine Streets in downtown Redlands. Over a year ago, First Presbyterian Church began the work of transforming an empty lot at the corner of 4th and Vine Street into a park for the community's use. Located across from the A.K. Smiley Public Library and the Redlands Police Administration Building, the lot lay vacant for nearly 20 years since the closing of Redlands Play School. Seeing beyond the overgrown shrubbery, weeds, and dirt, the church imagined a space for the community to enjoy. By April 2019, First Presbyterian Church had raised over $95,000 to begin the revitalization project. And then in March of 2020, as you all know, the COVID-19 pandemic struck. Despite this obstacle, the church remained committed to their goal of creating a park for the community. Funds were used to build and install trellis entrances, a pergola, fencing, benches, picnic tables with seating, and drought-resistant landscaping. By June of 2020, the church completed work on Vine Street Community Park. The space complements the heart of the city of Redlands and is a lovely place for reflection and sanctuary for all who visit. For those reasons, we are honored to present the First Presbyterian Church with a Beautification Award in recognition of the newly developed Vine Street Community Park. Our next Beautification Award goes to Don Grenda, co-founder of Statistical Research Incorporated, for the advancement of the Armory building. Don Grenda, principal and co-owner of Statistical Research Incorporated, had a vision for the 1950s industrial-style building when he saw it and set about purchasing it from the city of Redlands, who had formerly purchased it from the California Army National Guard. The vacant property had fallen into disrepair over the years and was in need of rehabilitation. Rather than demolish the building, Mr. Grenda instead began restoring and upgrading the structure. Thanks to his efforts and imagination, the dilapidated building was resurrected into an impressive and imposing structure that significantly beautifies this section of Texas Street near Interstate 10. The building houses Grenda's company, which consults on archaeological and historical concerns. Grenda renovated the main assembly hall, added and insulated offices, screened all utilities, and utilized passive air conditioning with ceiling fans and open windows. The grounds were landscaped with drought-tolerant plants, selected to color coordinate with the building's exterior, and the entire parking lot perimeter planted with heat and carbon-reducing trees. The renovation of this building created a place of intrigue for passersby and a welcoming, historical entrance to downtown Redlands. For these reasons, we are honored to present Don Grenda with a Beautification Award in recognition of his work in the adaptive reuse of the Armory building. Now we'll move on to the Redlands Heroes Award. The Redlands Heroes Awards recognize individuals who have performed voluntary activities that address a community need or enhance the quality of life for Redlands residents, and simply demonstrate acts of generosity and kindness. Our first award goes to Dr. Lori Hinckelman and Dr. Craig Turley. Both, go ahead. Both Dr. Hinckelman and Dr. Turley have been longtime community volunteers, focusing their efforts on helping the underserved population in the city of Redlands. Over the years, Dr. Hinckelman has volunteered with Youth Hope, the Blessing Center, Steps for Life, and the Redlands Charitable Resource Coalition. Likewise, Dr. Turley has served on the board for both the Blessing Center and the Redlands Charitable Resource Coalition for numerous years. When the pandemic struck, both Dr. Hinckelman and Dr. Turley quickly recognized that homeless and low-income individuals residing in the community would be in need. Due to COVID-19 restrictions, most of the organizations that assisted those in need were shutting down. Dr. Hinckelman and Dr. Turley mobilized several groups in the community to create 2 community food stations, one at Orange and Stewart Streets, and another behind First United Methodist Church on Vine. The community of Redlands was able to donate food, and various community organizations donated hygiene items. The demand was so high the first few days that Dr. Hinckelman and Dr. Turley arranged for another distribution site to open to the community in the vacant Kmart parking lot. During the first week, volunteers at the sites distributed 777 lunches during the first week. This led them to establish a partnership with Family Services Association to consolidate the 3 sites into one location. The partnership enabled their resources to grow as they now had access to Family Services refrigerators and storage facilities. Currently, the community food sites are still functioning and open 7 days a week. Because of their compassion, efforts, and the goodwill of those they recruited to help, disadvantaged residents were able to receive much-needed resources during an uncertain global pandemic. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Dr. Lori Hinckelman and Dr. Craig Turley as heroes of the city of Redlands. And I think he came up while I was speaking, so Dr. Mark Campbell accepted the award for Dr. Turley. Our next award recipient was unable to join us today. We'll make sure that he gets his award, is Jonathan Beatty. As a founding member of the Redlands Conservancy's Outdoor Ambassadors, Jonathan Beatty has been working to improve Redlands biking and hiking trails and enhance their safety for years. He is always available to clear a hot spot of goat head thorns, keeping cyclists, walkers, and their 4-legged friends from having to stop and remove the thorns from tires, shoes, or paws. As a board member of the Inland Empire Bike Alliance, he spearheaded the campaign to have the city of Redlands recognized as a premier cycling destination and volunteers regularly for the Strada Rossa, a well-regarded trail event that brings hundreds of cyclists to Redlands to ride the trails through the open spaces surrounding the city. He serves on the Conservancy's Land Trust Cabinet and volunteers at the Bike Barbecue, Emerald Necklace Tour, and the city's annual Day of Service. During the past year, he could be found working on the trails in the Aki Preserve, filling in divots left by horses, and removing the non-native plants. He is a hero to our open spaces, an avid environmentalist, conservationist, and goat head wrangler. For these reasons, we are proud to recognize Jonathan Beatty as a hero of the city of Redlands. The next 3 Mayor's Awards will be presented by Mayor Barrich.
The next 3 awards, I'm going to have to cut what they've all done in the city, otherwise we'd be here till 5 o'clock tonight. They've done so much. The first award is indeed my honor. I'd like to present this to Patty Holohan. It's a surprise. Patty attended Redlands School, grew up in Redlands, Ligonia Elementary, Clement Middle School, and Redlands High School. Yeah, go Terriers. After high school, she attended Cal State Fullerton. For over 30 years, Patty has been involved in the community, serving organizations both locally, regionally. Her committees and organizations include the City of Redlands Park and Recreation Commission, the Colton Redlands Yucaipa Regional Occupational Program, President of the Board, Redlands Community Hospital Advisory Committee, San Bernardino County Children's Fund Board Member, Associate of the Redlands Bowl Board Member, Redlands Community Music Association Board Member, Redlands Bone Mayor's Auxiliary Past President, Redlands Ladder Truck Committee, Redlands Fire Department. Patty's main passion through volunteers is better the lives of the youth. She has been on the Redlands School Board since 2006. You are a saint. She is currently president of the board, and it is a tough job. Patty has 2 children who graduated from Redlands High School. She's active member of the Holy Name of Jesus Parish, which she does a lot of volunteering, Father, you know that. When she's not at one of her committees or board meetings, which I don't know how she finds time for anything else, you can find Patty walking every morning around Redlands and rooting for her Los Angeles Rams. Sorry, Rams. Whoa. My wife went to the Dodger game last night, so I'm... Yeah. Yes, you're not. No. Patty, come on up.
Obviously, I didn't know this was coming because I started eating, so I probably have food in my teeth. Everything I've done, I've been honored to do because my parents taught me that the thing you do is you give and you give back. It's not about taking, it's about giving. I've been blessed to be in this town for 61 years. I learned from my parents. There's no other place I would rather be. I want to thank my kids. My kids have always been my sole support from everything that I've done. Working and being on the school board has been not only a challenge, but a blessing. This past year has been difficult. I want to thank the superintendent and my fellow school board members and our assistant superintendents and staff and teachers and students, because it has been a very difficult year, but we continue to challenge, and our bottom line is we've only ever wanted our kids to be healthy and to be safe. And I think that's what everybody wanted. So I appreciate you continuing our support for us, because we will continue to get there. My love of the arts goes back to the Redlands Bowl Performing Arts. 1 year, actually to the mayor, or to the president of the U of R, I lived in your home for 17 years at Miraflores. And it's a large home, as you know, and there was only 4 of us. So the president at the time of the Redlands Bowl asked, "Do you think you can accommodate someone to stay at your home, because it's rather large, and I speak Spanish, I'm bilingual?" And I said, "Oh, it'd be an honor," because they were coming from Cuba. It was the Cuban ballet. And she ended up staying with me 3 years. So, but we continued going on. It's my great, yeah. So we continue to give back. It was the arts, and I loved the ballet. I was a dance major in college, and it was awesome. So there's many stories I can go on. Children's Fund has always been a passion, because it goes back to our children again. Burge Mansion has always been great. They're always giving back to our kids, our children's workshops, everything. So thank you, police and fire, for always keeping us safe. You know, you've done your job, especially this last few. So I'm overwhelmed, and I'm humbled. And thank you, Mayor Barrich, for your friendship and support over the many years. Thank you very much.
Needless to say, she is surprised, which is the way I liked it. It's way overdue, Patty. You've given so much to this city, I don't know how to thank you. There's another gentleman that I'm about to introduce. Again, if we read all his distinctions, what he's done, so I'm just going to go over some of them. I'd be here all night. The next recipient is Mick Gallagher. Sandy, thank you for keeping it a secret. She had to get the award, because he makes the awards, over to my office. Well, where do I begin? Well, let me just read some of this up. It's great, because he's just going to get another award pretty soon for the Boy Scouts, so I can read from his thing here. He's is a member of the Hometown Heroes Foundation Board of Directors, service as the Master of Ceremonies for the city's annual Memorial Day and Veterans Day. What he's given to the veterans is unbelievable. That alone would be more than enough. He was in the Navy, served in Vietnam. He was a member of the Redlands City Council for 5 years, and you're still alive, huh? Yeah. Was on the City Planning Commission, Business Economic Development Advisory Commission, board member of the Omnitrans, the YMCA, Crafton Hills College Foundation, Terrier Football Boosters Club, past president and founding member of the Redlands Sunrise Rotary Club, and was the Man of the Year in 2017 in the city of Redlands. Mick, congratulations.
Thank you, everyone. I really don't know what to say. Patty's been prepared her whole life. I really don't know what to say except thank you very much. Redlands is my hometown, always has been, and I feel like just about every one of you in this room that says, hey, this is my town, and that's why we work so hard to keep it going all the time. thank you, thank you, thank you. Paul, thank you.
Again, thank you, Sandy, for keeping a secret. Wives are pretty good at that, aren't they, keeping secrets from their husbands? At least the good ones, right? Yeah. And I can't emphasize them enough. The three that I'm awarding to love Redlands. What they've given this town is, whether they're good, bad, or indifferent, they've always mean this is their town. They mean well. And it's just really my honor to be able to present this next one. Bill Cunningham, born and raised in Manhattan Beach. Served in the Philippines in occupation of Japan in World War II. Mr. Cunningham, this one's kind of tough. Graduated from USC. If I didn't love you so much, I wouldn't say that. But came here in 1952 as a teacher and physics teacher. Coached football, track. He was my track coach as a sophomore and junior year. Moved to Valley College in 1971 to teach astronomy and physics. I wasn't smart enough to take physics, but I did take astronomy, and he passed me, which is even great. Worked for NASA and the National Science Foundation at the University of Redlands. Several other universities, including consultant in physics at the University Grant Commissions of India. Was on the Redlands School Board for 14 years, 73 to 87, the last 6 years as president. Redlands City Council for 12 years, 87 through 99, the last 2 as mayor. Longtime chair of the Redlands Association, author of Measure N and U. Members of Kiwanis, First Baptist Church, Redlands Conservancy, Fortnight, Redlands Friends of Smiley Library, Historical Horticulture, Lincoln Watchhorn, and various other environmental organizations. He has a farm, which primarily for avocados and citrus. He's president and manager of West Redlands Water Company. Bill lost his wife, Beverly, in 2009, who I knew very well. He has 3 children, Andrew, Virginia, and James, James was lost in 2016. And next Tuesday, he'll be 95 years old. Still amazing, isn't it? He started teaching with my father, so basically he's known me my whole life, and it is an honor to give this to you, Mr. Cunningham.
Thanks very much. I'm very, as I said, humbled by the award. The transformation of my hometown, basically its quality of life as far as I was concerned, disappeared. When I came to Redlands in '52, I fell in love with the town. I hope I haven't hurt it, but be that as it may, I think we managed to keep Redlands the one place in Southern California where we have a quality of life and people choose to live. Thank you very, very much.
The next part of the program will feature a few videos from the city's Working for You video series. In addition, my fellow council members will provide a brief presentation. Carl?
Welcome to Hillside Memorial Park. The Cemetery Division is part of the Facilities and Community Services Department at the City of Redlands. Being part of the City of Redlands family means that we all have a shared responsibility to each other as co-workers and to the community we serve. Here at Hillside Memorial Park, our staff strives to help every family celebrate a life well lived. Whether it's a family coming in to prearrange for themselves, We make sure that they're given and provided every option available to them for their need. Or if it's a family that recently experienced a loss in their family, our staff will be here to guide them through the process. In my role as cemetery manager, I feel a sense of responsibility to make sure I adhere to the feedback provided by families we served. As a community member, I strive to make sure we reach out and inform families of the options provided here at the cemetery by creating workshops where we're able to educate the community on what's needed at the time a loss is experienced. The most important thing I've learned in my current position has been that it takes a collaborative effort amongst multitude of people spanning different departments to bring a project into fruition. Everyone working together for the same common goal is what creates a successful project. One of my career highlights with the City of Redlands would have to be this Garden of Serenity that took a little over 2 years to develop and bring to completion, but has truly been an added asset to the cemetery, providing multiple options for families to choose from. In my job, I have the privilege of guiding families during a time of loss. I'm able to help families narrow down on the options when it comes to expressing their wishes. To me, there's a sense of fulfillment in walking those individuals through a process they were unsure of to begin with, and being able to hold hands to those families that are in a difficult state. Here at Hillside Memorial Park, the thing that surprised me the most was the overwhelming support from the community. They're passionate and they see this memorial park as a resource to the City of Redlands, and that surprised me. My favorite part of the workday has to be when the family that we've served or spoken to over the phone takes the time to reach back and thank us for what we've done. Irrespective of whether their loved one was laid to rest here, hearing the words that we've made a very difficult day easier for them really impacts and leaves me with a sense of fulfillment. Hillside Memorial Park is a historical resource that has been here for over 130 years. It offers a beautiful, serene setting for graveside services, as well as residents that want to take a nature setting stroll through its grounds. It's majestic and beautiful, aligned with matured trees as well as wildlife that surround the neighboring areas. Redlands, to me, means home. It means family. Here's where I spend the majority of my days, serving the community, filling my responsibilities. But when you enter the city limits, when you enter the gates through the cemetery, there's a sense of peace only found when you enter the doors of your very own home.
Now, will you please join me in welcoming Councilmember Jenna Guzman-Lowry to the stage.
Can you hear me okay? Awesome. Well, thank you so much. This is my first State of the City and also one of my first big events in this mid-COVID, post-COVID world that we're in. So thank you so much for being here and just your presence. It's really exciting to see faces and just to have the energy of a live room. So can we all just give ourselves a round of applause for coping with the last year and a half? I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but other than being a council member, I'm also a therapist in my day-to-day, and I have a background with the Great White Circus, so I'm a big believer in crowd excitement and all of the wonderful stuff that we can bring into this room. Similar to what I just was referring to, when I am not a council member, I am a mental health clinician. I just recently graduated in the end of May from Cal State Fullerton. Woo woo, what's up? With my master's in science in clinical counseling. And so I've been lucky enough to work with a lot of our county clients doing some pretty complex trauma work with teens and families in our area therapeutically, which has also put me in a position to work with a lot of our members of our community who are experiencing homelessness. So I wanted to just give you a little bit of an update on the state of things of that, and maybe celebrate some of our staff member for some of the accomplishments that we've had in making strides for responding to that crisis. First of all, I think last night is a perfect example. Any of you guys who got to tune into our council meeting, our special meeting, know that we had a huge win last night. Our council voted 4-0 to, which is unanimous, to move forward on a project to partner with I can never say it, Shangri-La Industries, as well as some of the Project Home Key funding from the state of California to move forward with a project to provide transitional and potential permanent housing for individuals in our community who are experiencing homelessness. There is so much information that, especially if you watch our meeting from last night, a lot of work and research went into finding the most cost-effective way that the city can respond to this humanitarian crisis. So I want to just say props to Chief Topolewski, Chief Catron, Chris Boatman, Janice McConnell, and all other staff members that just hit the ground running in doing months worth of work to bring to us. I think some of our conversations it sounds like just the stars just aligned just right for the right people and the right groups to sort of partner together to advance a really compassionate response to this issue. In terms of like celebrating accomplishments, I think that is a massive win for our city because Redlands, as I'm hearing in a lot of our conversations, presentations, and awards, really is like a model city for ways that we can do good and give back. And so I'm hopeful that this particular opportunity of converting a motel into a housing project will set a precedent for other cities to find creative and cost-effective ways to help those in our community who are most vulnerable. I'm very passionate about this topic and this group. So if anyone in this room would like to have a coffee, a conversation, a phone call, or an email chat about it, I am always open until I am back in the 40-hour work week of doing more therapy. I would love to have as many conversations as possible. That is my update for you in terms of these particular projects. But like I said, I love the energy of being in person again. So if you see me and you want to have a conversation, I'm so into it. Thank you again.
My name is Kathleen Giorgiani, and I work for the Facilities and Community Services Division, Senior Administrative Assistant. My department, Facilities and Community Services, oversees all of the parks, the airport, landfill, solid waste, the cemetery. What surprised me most when I first started my job with the City of Redlands was the ability that my leadership had to just let me take something and run with it. Whatever project it was, they were so encouraging and knew that I could do it, even if it was something that I'd never done before. The Gateway project is an example of that. I had never been involved in a project that large. Chris Boatman, my director, you can do this, Kathleen, and he just let me run with it. And I proved that I could do it, and that gave me a lot of self-confidence. Orange Street Alley. We did that project, and I was lucky enough to be chosen to choose the umbrellas. And every year we replenish them, and Orange Street Alley is now really a great attraction for downtown Redlands. I've had different cities from different states call me to say, how did you do that? We saw that on your website, and we've sent them our plans. I've sent them who I got the umbrellas from, how much it cost, what it took to make it happen, and just what an attraction that is for our city. It's a great place to dine. It's a great place in the rain. It's phenomenal. Really fun, really fun. I personally contribute to the betterment of Redlands, as does my family. We have our own adopt-a street, so we go out once every quarter and pick up trash and wear our safety vests to make sure that we're we're doing what we're supposed to be doing. I also have been known to pick up huge palm fronds, stop my car in the middle of the road and slide them over to the side of the street so they're not blocking traffic, and take things out of storm drains when it's been raining. I feel like it's my city, and if I want it to be great, I need to, starts with one person. I love that I have the opportunity to work making the city that I live in better quality of life for everyone that lives here, including myself. I love that I'm involved with the Adopt a Street program, and I have my own street that I've adopted. My daughter and I do that together. I like being able to make changes where I can. If I see something that I think is a good idea to get done, such as a logo on a trash can or a bike rack, the people I work for are so open to that. That's my favorite thing about working for the City of Redlands.
Please join me in welcoming Mayor Pro Tem Eddie Tajeda to the stage.
Well, greetings, everyone. Honorable Mayor and council member colleagues, distinguished guests, esteemed members of our city family with whom nothing gets done in this community, and members of our community. It's an honor to be here. It's an honor to serve as a member of the City Council. It's an honor to have been elected in 2016. And I'm just going to get this out of the way as one of the few members of the City Council to have been elected from the north side of town. So I appreciate that the community has trusted that to me. And so thank you very much for that. I also appreciate having had the opportunity to run a re-election, having no challenger. So that also says a lot. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. It's been an honor to serve on the City Council alongside each and every one of my colleagues. Some who have been with me not very long, and even though our time together has been short, I've had the opportunity to learn so much from. The late, great Pat Gilbreth, for example, who took time to, as a new council member, visit me at my home and talk to me about her priorities and just how to be a city council member. So I appreciated that from her. John Harrison. These people have institutional knowledge that goes back for quite a while. I can remember having run for city council back in 2005 and 2007. My mission only being to bring the voice and the concerns of members of the community from the north side of town to the city council. It's my understanding that our community from time to time felt somewhat fractured, and I believe that participation in key areas, especially on the city council, was essential to bridging that gap, to helping the community heal its feeling and sense of division. I hope that the time I've served on city council has done something to bring us closer and closer together. I get the sense that having ran unopposed does show that, and so again, I appreciate that. My job on the city council is to make sure that my constituents are served as well as the entire community. And I believe I've done that I've served with honor and dignity, not just the residents of District 2, the residents of the historic North Redlands, but the entire community. I've had the honor of serving with council members like Paul Foster, again, another person who carries with him institutional knowledge, a gentleman who is put this community first. And so I've learned a lot. I learned a lot from people who showed me that in order to keep our community what it is, it's important to focus on the needs of our community at large and not just by district or by area. So I wanted to report on changes that I've seen in our community. I think the state of our city today is more inclusive. The state of our city is ever changing and in a positive way, and I can appreciate that. I didn't have a lot of time to prepare remarks, so I'm here speaking from the bottom of my heart, expressing my sincere gratitude and appreciation to each and every person that's here. I work full-time as a special educator for students that have moderate to severe disabilities. I have a passion for working with children with autism and Down syndrome. And so I should be at work today, but I'm here sharing some of my experiences with you all, and it is indeed a pleasure to be here and an honor to serve you in District 2. Thank you so much.
Hi, my name is Cecilia Griego. I'm the Water Resources Specialist in the Municipal Utilities and Engineering Department. I've been with the city for 11 years. My division improves the quality of life in Redlands by securing long-term water supply reliability, making sure that when you turn on your tap 20 years from now, there's water flowing from it. When I first started my position 11 years ago, water conservation was just ramping up. Regulations were being put in place by the state, and so the look of water conservation is very different from 2011. It's a more aggressive approach, and it's looking at it for the long term. It's not just to get us through a drought, it's to prepare us for a continuation of droughts and dry weather. And so it really is a way of life now. So one of my favorite things about my position is the history of Redlands water and how important that history plays in future water supply reliability. Our water supply, some of them were secured over 100 years ago, and certain judgments and deals that have been made in the past 50 years, 100 years, really make our supply what it is. As my predecessors did such a good job with that, my goal is to move forward only improving on those supplies. My favorite thing about working for the City of Redlands is probably customer engagement and education. I love when a customer calls and they need help troubleshooting an issue with their irrigation controller, or maybe ideas that they need for drought-tolerant landscaping. When a customer calls me and they're excited about the changes that we've made to either their irrigation controller settings or suggestions we made on their landscape, and they see that difference on their water bill and the efficiency of their system. One of my most favorite career highlights would have to be the creation of Ira and Eva, which are two gators that we use for our educational platform to improve efficiency by enrolling small children into water conservation programs. So I've worked for the city for 11 years, and the first 8 years that I worked here, Redlands was just a workplace. For the last 3 years, it's been my home. All of my coworkers love what they do and have so much passion about it. And as a resident of the city, I appreciate that. So one of the things I hope our customers take away from this video is to utilize the programs that we've put in place. We've worked very hard to make sure that they're programs that will make a difference in their water usage. If they have questions about their irrigation or questions about drought-tolerant resources, we are happy to educate them on that. We're happy to share that with them. Me and my colleagues are very excited about the programs we've put in place, and we will share that information with anybody who calls us.
Please join me in welcoming to the stage Councilmember Denise Davis.
Thank you so much. It always feels like a homecoming being back in this space. I came to Redlands in 2002 specifically to come to the University of Redlands as the first person in my family to attend a 4-year university. So it always feels amazing to be back in this space where I've had so many great memories over the last nearly 20 years. My time at U of R really made me fall in love with college students and the college experience. So much so that I've spent my day job doing that ever since. I worked here for many years. Now I'm at UC Riverside. I also have recently started a Redlands Youth Council, which is very exciting. We have 30 students from various high schools throughout the city. We just started meeting this month. We're going to meet for 8 months. And actually last night I was getting ice cream at one of my favorite local businesses, a la Minute, and the person making the ice cream said, "You're Denise, you run the youth council, right?" I said, "Yes." And they said, "Is it too late? Can I still join?" And so I can't say no, so I'm gonna keep opening the door if you know high school students who want to get involved in local government. We're meeting once a month between now and May, and I'm super excited about that program. And I wanted to shift gears a bit because I wanted to talk about and honor really the last year and a half and how difficult it's been for all of us. This pandemic was definitely not what most of us had on our minds when we were elected pre-2020, but I will say that I'm incredibly proud of the way in which the city of Redlands has navigated this unprecedented public health crisis. Early in the pandemic, I volunteered along with Councilmember Foster to be part of the city's COVID-19 subcommittee. We have continued to meet with city staff throughout the last year and a half as needed and as recently as just a few weeks ago. I wanted to use my time today to detail a bit more about the city's efforts in relation to COVID-19. In the initial moments of the pandemic, our immediate thoughts were on the health and safety of our community first and foremost. Beyond that, we were worried about our local business community and the immediate economic impact of the pandemic and the stay-at-home orders, which I know those of you in this room felt more than most people. One of the most significant projects to come about from this COVID-19 subcommittee was a partnership with downtown restaurants for the creation of downtown outdoor street dining, otherwise known as State Street Promenade. We approved this on June 16, 2020, and began the program the following month on July 16th. The streets of East State, 5th, and Orange Street parking lots were closed on Thursday to Saturday evenings, and this was so popular that we eventually added Sunday closures as well. Initially, 10 restaurants participated in the program. As indoor restrictions for restaurants loosened and allowed for 50% indoor seating in April 2021, several of the restaurants could not sustain the level of service needed to serve inside and outdoor customers and stopped requesting outdoor seating on the closing of the streets. Caprice Cafe was the last restaurant providing outdoor seating on a portion of closed 5th Street. The final State and 5th Street closures occurred on June 12th of this year. However, we are open to approving this program again in the future should restaurants be interested. City staff reached out to a few of the restaurant owners for their comments regarding the outdoor dining program. John Darby, owner of Darby's American Cantina, said, quote, "It was definitely a lifeline for both myself and my staff." Chris Pepino, owner of Caprice Cafe, said, quote, "Because of the extra revenue we could save from adding tables to the street, we were able to retain 90% of our employees with minimal shifts, and most importantly, we were able to keep our kitchen and those with career jobs employed. Even after the assistance of PPP loans and substantial personal loans to ensure we survived the first and second wave of the pandemic, we would have been forced to close without the revenue we were able to recapture with outdoor dining." Kareem Benjamin, owner of Dawn Orange Tacos, said, "At the time when millions of jobs have been lost and thousands of restaurants have closed permanently or indefinitely, we were able to retain some of our employees and keep the business open." Overall, we were grateful to support our local restaurants with this outdoor dining program, which also offered a much-needed space for so many of us to enjoy a meal outside and feel somewhat normal during this pandemic. The sense of community was an important part of what's kept us moving through this past year and a half in Redlands. As we know, an important turning point in the pandemic was the rollout of the vaccine. Our city stepped immediately into action and took part in a public-private partnership that came together through vaccination clinics throughout Redlands. The Redlands Fire Department, Redlands Police Department, and organizations including the University of Redlands, Redlands Community Hospital, Esri, and the Redlands Unified School District came together to provide vaccination outreach, especially among underserved communities, led by our Redlands Fire Department. Designated personnel from these groups met frequently and hosted clinics in the following locations: Redlands Community Hospital, Weiser Center, University of Redlands, Citrus Valley High School, Esri Campus, and American Legion Post 650. In the course of 6 months, 32,000 people received COVID-19 vaccinations as a result of these clinics, which was tremendous. Finally, I want to close by acknowledging the 241 Redlanders who lost their lives to COVID-19 and their family and friends. Our small community was impacted in major ways, and I want to end by thanking our frontline workers and first responders. I've had so many conversations with firefighters and healthcare workers who have been heavily impacted by the trauma of responding to those in crisis over and over again, often with limited resources. We are so fortunate to have such dedicated people working to keep this city as safe as possible in the most difficult of times, as we've seen in the last year and a half. Thank you once again to all of you who have contributed to the successful functioning of our city in the past year. The state of our city is undoubtedly strong, as we've weathered a lot and have continually found ways to come together. Thank you all so much for being here today and for your continued care and support of this great community that we all call home.
Hi, my name is Lizette Atkinson. I'm an animal control officer with the city of Redlands. I work for the Redlands Police Department. My favorite part about working for the city of Redlands is honestly the community. The community is, I feel that the community and animal control working together makes the city a better place. I feel we help, as animal control officers, we help quality of life to relocating skunks, relocating snakes, things like that. It helps the community feel more safe and more comfortable just because I feel we as animal control officers, we have their backs in a sense. If I have an adopter, I want to make sure both parties are happy, my dogs as well as the adopter. Also, if I'm out on the field, I want to make sure I educate. So for example, let's say if an animal is getting out constantly, things like that, I want to educate and maybe find a solution to prevent the issue from the beginning. During my experience with Redlands Animal Control, I think my most memorable experience has been a call that came in for an abandoned dog in the middle of a field. I responded and one of our residents informed me that he was extremely emaciated, had lacerations everywhere. I saw him. I brought him back to the shelter. I told my supervisor, hey, this is what's going on. Immediately, she told me, okay, take him to the vet. We took him to the vet. He was there for not a long time, but maybe I want to say 2 weeks. We got the call that unfortunately one of his legs was extremely fractured, so they had to actually amputate. They amputated the leg. We brought him back here. And during that time we had him here, most amazing dog ever. He never showed like nothing that has ever happened to him. He was the most lovable dog after everything he went through. So when it was finally his time to get adopted to an amazing home, he wasn't having it. He was like, nope, I want to stay here. Finally, we met this amazing couple. They took the time, they came several times. We adopted him out, and till this day I keep in contact with them. And oh my God, they're amazing. I love them. He's in training classes right now. He's in obedience classes right now. He's doing amazing. And if it wasn't for him, I honestly, he honestly made me remember why I'm here. Why do I do this job? A lot of people think I'm just a dog catcher, but we do so much more. We care about these animals like our own. We have baby kittens that we bottle feed. And because of Baron, I remembered why I'm here. I'm here to make a difference for them. That's it.
I hope you kept a clean spot on your napkins in case you need to wipe something out of your eye. Please join me in welcoming back to the stage the Honorable Mayor Paul Burrich.
I'll tell you, those short films are fantastic. Cheryl Williams, thank you very much. Carl Baker. When we showed that at the city council about a couple months back, trust me, I don't think there was a dry eye in the house. How can you not? Everyone loves animals. Good afternoon, and thank you for attending the 2021 State of the City Luncheon. I want to begin by thanking the city council colleagues whom you just heard from, Mayor Pro Temp Eddie Tajeda. Thank you, Eddie. Council Member Denise Davis. Thank you, Denise. Council Member Jenna Guzman-Lowry. It's going to take me a little time to get that hyphenated name, but thank you, Jenna. I'm doing okay. And I would like to give special thanks to Council Member Paul Foster, who, as you heard, has announced his retirement from the City Council next year. We're going to miss you, Paul. And I guess I hope your wife is feeling much better. Our best hopes are out and prayers are for you. My thanks on behalf of the city to the University of Redlands. Thank you, President. And to the Redlands Chamber of Commerce for hosting this today's event. Chris Alvarez, Jan Nolan, again, thank you. We're back to normal again, or somewhat normal. We'll have this again next year and so on. I'd like to extend a warm welcome to the university's new president, Krista Newkirk. Krista, welcome. We are excited about the future of the university under your leadership, and I know we'll continue to have some quality education, and what the university gives back to the city is we can't put a price on it. Thank you very much, and we welcome you. And I want to join the chamber in thanking our sponsors for all the generosity and support. Finally, I want to thank our city staff, including our city manager, Charlie Duggan, and his team. Charlie. He has done a phenomenal job considering what we've had to go through. Thank you again, Charlie. We're lucky to have you. Assistant City Manager Janice McConnell. Janice. Facility and Community District Service Director Chris Boatman. Chris, are you here? Thank you, Chris. The police chief, Chris Catron. Chief. Fire Chief Jim Topoleski. Jim. He's always correcting me to call him Jim instead of Chief, but that's out of respect. So, Development Service Director Brian Desatnik. Brian, I did it right this time. Thank you, Brian. Management Service Director Danielle Garcia. Library Director Don McHugh. Don. By the way, the lady who led us in the Pledge of Allegiance is a graduate of our literacy program. That's what's so special, having her lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Don, for a great program. Municipal's Utility Engineering Director John Harris. Thank you, John. I would like to ask all the rest of the city employees attending this afternoon to please stand and recognize, please be joining in showing you a great appreciation of what you do for our city. Truly, they are the reason why this city is so special. You can see it, people who know it. I know I'm probably preaching to the choir, but this is just a wonderful city, and it's my honor to lead it as the mayor. As you well know, a lot of things happened more than 2 years since the state of the city back in July of 2019. In 2020, the COVID pandemic hit the country. By March, many businesses were being forced or shut down. People were being asked to stay at home. Schools and churches were closed. We learned the term social distancing and the right way to wash our hands. I became the first city's first Zoom mayor. So the pandemic and the hit it made on the economy created a problem for local businesses and for our residents. And it has created a problem for the city's budget too. For 12 straight years, we've had a balanced budget and built the city's reserves. With COVID-19, the city was suddenly facing a big decline in revenues from lost sales tax, hotel tax, user fees, and business license. We started to look to other ability to provide basic service, like the police and fire, and whether we were able to keep the library open. We were looking at close to $6 million shortfall just the first year alone. We ended up eliminating 80 positions in the city, including police department, the animal shelter, the library. No department, unfortunately, was untouched. They all had to take their cuts. These were tough decisions, and without new revenue, things looked like we were going to get worse, not better. Last year, we put Measure T on the ballot to add 1 cent sales tax. When we first started looking at the ways to provide new revenue, we had hoped to restore some of the things that we cut in the Great Recession of 2007 and 2008. And we hope to address a lot of the residents' priorities, improve our public safety, replace outdated equipment, fix some of our public facilities, including the new public safety building. But the COVID hit, and we were hoping just to preserve public safety. City services and local infrastructure such as AK Smiley Library, our parks, our streets, and our sidewalks. In November 2020, Measure T passed with more than 57% of the vote. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, who voted for it. We appreciate it. After more than a decade of building the public trust by balancing budget, building reserves, cutting debt, and fixing our roads, the voters recognized the value of local government, and they put their trust to use with this new revenue. Do things, we assure you we will do things like we said we're supposed to. Now, it is up to us to live up to that commitment, and that's what we're going to do. We appreciate the public's trust. We work, we pledge to continue and provide excellent value to our citizens for your tax dollars. In addition to $10 million annually we expect from Measure T, the economy has improved to be much more resilient than anyone expected. While our budget is not back to where we were before the pandemic, our finances are strong, and we're looking for a much brighter future. This year, we restored positions in the police department, the fire department, and the library. We increased the library hours. Don? Yeah. And we have approved the purchase of a new fire engine and other equipment. Gentlemen, you're going to have a new ride pretty soon. We added $1 million in Measure T revenues to city tree trimming budget, which will allow us to start addressing the backlog and trim a quarter of the city's urban forest. In 2020, the city completed what was probably the largest repavement program in our history. We paved 2/3 of the city's streets. Can you imagine? 2/3, that's 440 lane miles as part of the Paris program, one of the most successful programs we've had in our history of Redlands. And we're not done. In 2020, the City Council also approved a payment management program to maintain those streets, extend their life, pave even more streets. This year, the council approved more than $9 million to pave another 50 miles of streets. We also approved a sidewalk program to repair 25,000 square feet of broken sidewalk and 29 handicap ramps. Honoring our commitment to address the homeless, last night my council colleagues, took the most recent step to deal with our homeless situation, getting the help for the people we need help and making our community a healthier place to live and work. Quite honestly, this was written before we completed last night, and I'll tell you, it was a grand slam. I want to thank my associates and everybody, especially Chris Boltman and Charlie Duggan, putting this together. They've been working on this for 6 months now, and when we roll this thing out, this is going to be state-of-the-art, and I think all the other municipalities in our area are going to copy what we've done. We're also committed to being complete transparent. The Measure T Oversight Committee will review the use of sales tax revenue, report back to the residents to ensure that we've continued to honor our commitment to the voters and the community. Recently, we've entered an agreement to purchase City Bank building on West State Street that will eventually allow us to move our city offices into a central downtown location and provide the kind of city hall our town deserves and save the city money in the process. The building is in great shape. We estimated that it has 100 years useful life, so it's going to be around for a long time once we get in there. City Council and the executive staff have also proceeded creating a strategic plan to set goals for the city for the next 6 years. Not 2 years, but 6 years. We keep on going. And we're involving all of you in the process. We began in August with the community survey to determine our residents' satisfaction with the city's services and find out what's most important to you. That survey was completed this month, and we expect to announce those results first part of November. With that information at hand, in the next weeks and months, the city will begin reaching out to the community again to help us set those strategic priorities. The future of Redlands is bright. We want to thank you for putting your trust in us. Like you, we live, work here. We want the best for our town. We expect you to hold us to our promises, and we know that if you do, we will all be better off for it. Thank you very much. Since this is an official meeting, the next order is, do we have any public comment? I think we've had enough tonight, haven't we? Seeing none, I here now join the special city council meeting. Chamber President, would you please come up and close the meeting? Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for attending. It's my pleasure to serve you.
Well, thank you all for attending. This was a great event, the first of many. And thank you, Mayor, for all that you do for us. And thank you to the community as well as our sponsors. Thank you for your generosity. And also want to remind everybody of the upcoming legislative forum, which will be on October 15th here at the university at the Casa Loma room. So please check with Chamber office. We do have spots available. We look forward to seeing you all then. And I guess we could go ahead and close this event, but I'm so happy to see you all here and see your smiling faces. You guys all take care, be well, and have a wonderful day.